Hi Poopsies, it's me, Tony Bomboni ASMR. Before this begins, this is your monthly Patreon video. If you'd like to check out my Patreon, just simply go to my website, tonybomboni.com. You'll find it there, and you can use these coupon codes in the corner below as well, so that you can get your own services from me, like Reiki, Tarot, ASMR, Coffee Cup, and candle wax readings as well. Alright, and if you could just quickly subscribe and tap the bell and hit all notifications so you get notified of new content from me every single day. Alright guys, so today's video is a quick Patreon video, like I said, 10-minute Patreon monthly video, which I do for my monthly Patreon poopsies. And even for those who are not, because it's all part of it. I want to talk about things I maybe regret, or I don't usually have many regrets in life. I'm the type of person that just moves on and I don't really regret anything, to be honest. I just sort of move on eventually and look at everything as a valuable lesson and a valuable experience that I needed for my growth. So whatever painful encounter I went through, that's what it is. But there's a difference, though, between that and looking back in time based on, like, what you would do if you were to go back in time, as the title of this video states. Would you do things maybe a little differently? Sure, I'm sure we would all, but I also don't really believe in the butterfly effect either, because you already did everything you had to do at that time. It was predetermined, predestined for you. It's written before you come here. So, like, you kind of, whatever you end up deciding doing, that was already meant to happen, because if it wasn't meant to happen, it would have never happened. Do you see what I'm saying? So in an essence, it's predetermined, okay? And I actually wanted to make some sound today, because I actually have this tea here, which is pretty cool. It's a stress balance calming rose petal tea. And I just drank some, and it's super calming and relaxing and stress relieving. I just want to make some sound and tap while I'm talking, so I don't just simply talk. But if I could go back in time, I think the first thing I would immediately do is repair the relationship with some of my old friends I've had. Okay, because, or behave differently towards them, or, again, that's hard to do when, like, obviously, like, at the time you did that for a certain reason, right? But looking back and based how things are going, maybe that's just one thing I would say in general that I would fix and go back in time. If I could go back in time, is maybe be more patient with my friends, even people I were dating. Like, I a lot of times I get the pride in the way, I don't have the patience, and I'm like, girl, bye, I don't have room for that negativity in my life. I don't even have time for it, first of all. But to make more time is another thing, actually, now that I mention it. To make more time for loved ones, even family members, even, to also, not only that, I'm trying to open this box so I can make more sound, to be in the present moment, which I lived for so many, probably a whole decade alone, just going on ahead, moving ahead, going on ahead, moving ahead, and not really absorbing what's in the moment, and then realizing you lost friends. Now what? You're almost pretty much all alone, right? Like, that's one thing I would say I would go back in time and repair. Maybe you can relate to the same. Maybe it is something that hurts to hear, but maybe that you have been through yourself as well. Maybe something you can reevaluate is that we can't go back in our past. We can't repair the past, but right now we can repair the present and the future, because the present's linked to the future and a little bit of the past. They're all kind of like chain linked together. But anyway, so I feel like it's just something that I would do to improve the quality of my life, because I don't have a healthy balance of everything in my life. It should be like 20% social, 20% work, Yeah, right. More like, anyway, so 20% family, loved ones, 20% you, spending time alone, 20% leisure, travel, vacationing, maybe, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, again, that's not realistic in this day and age, but like for a lot of people it is, people who maybe have the more money to do what they can, my life is more like 80% work. Okay, 1%, no, 0.1% social. I mean, you know what I'm saying. All right, I don't have to be that dramatic, but yeah, I kind of just like was a little antisocial myself growing up, and I was a bit distant from people, just I guess based on certain environmental factors. Maybe it could be dependent on how you're raised, from whom, and what you've been through, and all that. So I never fitted in. I never felt comfortable. I never had the confidence. I always had the anxiety. I was always shy, closed off, afraid. And I think if I just maybe go back in time and just in those moments where I was fearful, to do it anyway, to take that brave step. I've been brave many times in my life, but like just the moments that I haven't been, yeah, I would go back in time and maybe change those up as well, because there was that time I could have been on a talent show and had done acting, right? And then later I regretted in life, I'm just a stupid YouTuber and I never went to do acting. But then I realized, well, that's not what I want anyway. I'd be so depressed going from hotel to hotel and just having no friends. But anyway, so I just feel like little moments like that, that were like, oh, you could have asked that person out or told them how you feel, or you could have maybe made that expense anyway, even though you were saving money and you were scared to lose money, right? Like, do it anyway, because you ended up getting the money anyway, right? Like, for that thing you were saving for. So I'm like, oh, just little moments like that where you realize God has your back all along. And that's another thing, to have more faith during those moments where I was fearful, scared, depressed, feeling like there was no hope left, wanting to end it all, so another regret, staying out of drama. Admittingly, I was always the type of person when I was younger and just more immature to be like, oh, girl, spill the tea. That back when we didn't even say that back then, but if I knew that word, I'd probably be the annoying one that'd be saying that all the time. I'd probably be twerking in the hallways in school, like saying I'm bad and bougie and spill the tea, girl. Oh yes, Queen Hunty Slay Child. Like, I would have said all those things if they were like, that wasn't my generation. The new kids started saying that nonsense, but you know what I'm saying? That was me. I was like, so involved in everyone's drama and business, and people found me annoying, and I didn't realize it. Like, one time a girl even said, she went up to me, she was like, you should be a news reporter. I was like, why? She's like, because you're in everyone's business. I'm like, so yeah, if I continued down that path, I probably would have been on TMZ by now or something like that. So but that was my old self, that was my ungrounded self, my unspiritual self before I got to know myself. And I guess I would go back and apologize to those people. I would go back and say, I was a B word. I was a backstabber. I was a snake, and confess my flaws. Because we all have flaws. We're all working on ourselves and, on each other as well. And to mind my own business, because sometimes I would really, to a point where I would just want to know what everyone was doing and how I could help. But in that time, I thought, I was helping because I was being like someone's counselor or whatever. But no, I just had to be a friend. And sometimes certain people want you to leave you alone. And I didn't know boundaries back then, and I didn't leave them alone. And then one day, like, there was a girl that just didn't want to play, and she went, pow, right in the library. And that was a lesson learned, with people's limits, right? So I would go back in time and apologize and stop being so prideful, so you lose a lot of people like that, and it ruins your reputation. I would even go back in time and delete a lot of stupid videos I've done that hurt people's feelings and stuff like that. So I guess I've been through a lot of pain in my life to realize I was the pain, right? It's sometimes think that was everything I covered. Like, I can't really think of anything else in this moment. I just kind of wanted to blurt out something, get it off my chest. Maybe, again, like I said, something relatable to what you could have experienced growing up, and something that maybe disturbed you for so long, and something you wanted to change about your life. Who knows how my life, if the butterfly effect did exist, would be right now, were I to be a totally different person, or the person I am now, if I were that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, right? So, thank you for watching. Hopefully you got something out of this, and life will teach you quite a many lessons and give you some experiences to make you realize, I suppose, the potential of you, who you could really become over a long term. Like, we all have the ability to be good, bad, and ugly, right? So how your life is now is based on what you choose, your choices. So let's look ahead and choose to channel that energy to move onwards in the best way we know possible. Bye, poopsies.